Racing takes place out at Turffontein on Saturday, the 9th of March 2024. We've got a doubleheader racing alongside Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. Both centres have got 9 races on the programme. And racing out at the Big T begins at 12:05, so it is an early start. 1,800 metres the distance for the first race, which will get the meeting underway. The bar will commence with the running of race 2, the PA race number 3, and the Pick 6 in race number 4. Joining me on the line is Alistair Cohen. And Alistair, how are you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks, Raquel. A week on from the second leg of the Triple Crown of Hollywoodbets Triple Tiara. I think Give Me Another, for me, was the undoubted highlight of the second day of that big campaign. Main defender was brilliant, beating the horse of the year and a perfectly ridden Dave the King. He went up the wrong side of the track, etc. And he currently flies the flag for the 3-year-old Colts. Whether he gets any further than 1,600 metres, I don't know. There was an article that broke yesterday that looks like he's going to take the sort of the low road during KZN, going for the KZN Guineas, the Hollywoodbets Gold Challenge, and then into the Champion Stakes at the end of the season, without going for the Hollywoodbets Durbanville. So thinking caps are on with various connections going into Champion season. Like I told Dees for the Thursday show, that I think this Champion season is going to be absolutely out of the top draw. There's obviously been a plane of horses that has departed for America that's taken quite a few of the big names out of contention. But there's definitely some emerging names, and I'm really looking forward to what's to come over the coming months. As for this card, Raheel, this is one of my guilty pleasures, this card. It used to have a little bit more substance to it when it used to have the Senor Santa, and it had the Sycamore Sprint as well as 2 supporting features on the day that has the Ormond Forest Oaks Trial, the Hawam Stakes, which is the Derby Trial, and the Aquanaut Handicap. But it's still a day that I really look forward to, and they're always a lot of evidence of up-and-coming 3-year-olds through these trial races that might be ahead of the handicapper that can go on to achieve some fairly useful things.
Well, let's get into it and we'll get your thoughts on it. Race number 1, 1,800 metres. As I mentioned, you can scratch number 8, Forest God, and number 9, Rastignac. So it's reduced the field size now, and Forest God an important scratch in there because he was at the top of betting boards, and now that he's out, To the Rescue tops the market at 15-10, 22-10 Karoo Gold, 9-2 Caliburn. It's then 13-2 and Better Ball. This looks to be the race that To the Rescue can get the job done in. He's obviously having his first start after Geldin, and Geldin may have just been what he needed.
That's the key, Raheel. If the Geldin doesn't work with number 1 To the Rescue, then it will be a real head scratcher. I think he's underachieved. I think he's overdue. I'm disappointed that he hasn't won his maiden. I remember calling his first start. He went down to the start like a lovely son of Gimme the Green Light that just needed further, and he ran like that as well. And the second start was disappointing. I thought that he had run a much better race than that under Pierce Stratum. In fact, that was probably his worst run to date. And his 2 runs subsequent haven't really cast him in a good light. But with that said, there's been evidence that there's something there with the son of Gimme the Green Light, and if the gelding does work and brings him on at all, he should win the opener on the card. The scratcher of Forest God probably simplifies the opener. Number 3, Karoo Gold, unlucky last time. He just didn't settle in the early stages. Sereno Mudley now takes a ride for Candice Dawson. He's probably in the same boat as number 1 To the Rescue, probably a bit of a head scratcher that he hasn't won yet. I think To the Rescue might have a little bit more ability pound for pound than number 3 Karoo Gold, but I do expect them to run 1-2. Number 2 Caliburn, better run last time. That was on the inside track. He does not strike me as a horse that's gonna love 1,800 metres on the stand side track. It is Ryan Munger's last meeting before he heads back to Canada, so he'll be hungry for a win or 2. But I'm happy to box up numbers 1 and 3 in the exacta and move on from there.
Race number 2, 1,800 metres the trip, and this is the maiden plate for the fillies and mares. 12:40 is the off time. It will be the start of the bipot, and your favourite is number 2 Volare Imambo from the Mike de Kock yard at 18-10. Erupt the Dawn is at 2-1, 22-10 Say It With Roses, and then it's 8-1 and Better Ball. These 3 fillies that are prominent in the market, are they the 3 that you think should fight it out?
I'm prepared to bank number 2 Volare Imambo in the bipot, Raheel. There's a line of form here with Darling Harbour that makes number 2 Volare Imambo a very, very hard horse to beat. She gets the blinkers on for the first time. The last starts on the 10th of February.
She finished second behind Donamo, beaten 2 1/4 lengths, and that piece of form could certainly be good enough. Blinkers go on to
2nd of February. So simply on that line of form, Number 2 with Valaria Mambo will be a very hard horse to beat. The blinkers go on to this daughter of Mambo in Seattle. She's related to a horse from the same ownership, Mambo Camtesio, who stays all day. So it's a bit of a slow burn for number 2, Valaria Mambo, to get to probably her peak. But on simple mathematics and a line of form, number 2, Valaria Mambo, very hard horse to beat, deserves her place at the top of the boards. And for me, she's worth a bet.
Yeah, the blinkers could certainly extract that bit more out of this daughter of Mambo in Seattle at 18 to 10. That's her current price. We're going to move along to race number 3, which will be the start of the place accumulator. 1:15 is the off time. 2,000 meters the trip. It's an MR88 handicap. Favorite is Twatwa Cut at even money. It's 7 to 2. Jet Dynasty. 5 to 1. Poor Little Rich Girl. And then it's 6 to 1. And better ball those. Now Twatwa Cut, he was beaten by 1 on the day last time out. Supreme Dance had his number. He gets the services of Marco van Rensburg, and he comes into this race as a horse that looks set to go very well, and he could well get his 4th career victory here.
When I looked at this race initially, I was quite comfortable with my numbers in the place accumulator, which is my suggested bet. They 1 and 6, but I think finding a winner here is a little bit easier said than done. But when I look at it again, now that I'm actually looking at the race again, this is probably the 4th time that I've gone through this field of 6, and it's been a bit of a head scratcher. On the last start over 1,800 meters on the 17th of February, although Twatwa Cut was beaten by Supreme Dance, and he's got an extra 4 kilos to carry, he was comfortably in front of Jet Dynasty and comfortably in front of well in front of Yuko and Hurry Love. So does that mean you can eliminate the chances of Yuko and Hurry Love? It was a very bad run, but he's capable of doing that from time to time. He can be very good, he can be very bad, so I wouldn't totally rule out his chances. But purely on what we saw last time, even though Jet Dynasty is likely to be a better horse over the extra 200 meters, you can make the same argument for number 1, Twatwa Cut. So I think all things being equal, the son of Rafif ought to run a big race and at least finish in the first 3. I've backed him up with the lowly weighted number 6, Pewter Sky, who's run 3 times over this trip and has yet to show anything over 2,000 meters. But I'm willing to give him one more chance over this distance, only because he gets weight from the entire field. And I think that he's been running as if another attempt over this distance will probably not be out of place. If you have a look at his last start, he was a good finisher behind Dubai Hills. Dubai Hills, I know, didn't frank that form. That is looking very ordinary, that form, to be honest. I know there's another horse later on in the day who comes out of that form line who's got to be a big chance. But I think that just with the lightweight, number 6, Pewter Sky, is just worth one more chance over this distance. Matchett and Oily had a winner on Thursday in the form of Law of Success, so their yard at least is going along nicely. So I'm comfortable with the 2 horses in the place accumulator. Top choice is number 1, Twatwa Cut, but with no degree of confidence. There are literally 6 runners in this race, and all 6 have claims.
I thought you would have included number 5, Arlington Action, because last week you gave him a bit of a chance in that field where he ran 5th, beaten 5 lengths, and he comes in with 55.5 over a track and trip that he's suited by.
And he finished off his race very nicely. He was an eye-catcher, but I'm a little bit worried about the fact that, for me, this is just a stronger field. I know that he'll be better over this distance, and I know that draw 1's going to be a big advantage, and he's obviously better on the stand. Well, I'd like to believe he's probably a little bit better on the stand-side track than he is on the inside track. He, too's got a winning chance, but from the place accumulator perspective, I've just sidestepped him and hoping to survive this first leg. It's a small field, but it's a race that I don't really like. I think there are better betting races later on in the card.
Yeah, Twatwa Cut is the top choice in race number 3, the one to beat, and let's see how he does go. But Pewter Sky, Arlington Action, 2 horses that need to be included in the play. Moving along to race number 4, the start of the pick 6, 1,160 meters the trip. This is a Pinnacle Stakes. 1350 is the off time, and having a look at the fixed odds betting market, the favorite is number 5, I Am Giant, at 16 to 10. 4 to 1 about number 3, Cold Fact. Swing Upon a Star is at 5 to 1, along with Moon Shining Through. Bartoldi is at 6 to 1, and then it's 10 to 1 and better bar those. Now this horse, I Am Giant, he put his best foot forward last time out when beating Austin Kerr. He's got the services of Atandiwe Mkutwa for this ride and for this race, and he's got 54 kgs on the back. Is he the top choice, and would it be a concern for you that Atandiwe rides him for the very first time, given that he's a horse that seems to have his own sort of characteristics?
Yes. answer. I think he's a very good horse for a heel. Number 5, I Am Giant. I think the biggest concern is draw 1. It's been dry in Joburg this week, except for Thursday night, to be fair. So, draw 1, Turffontein stands up track, not the place you want to be. Although I like his chances, I make him a big runner. He's obviously had a lot of issues throughout his career, and he's put them behind him, and he cost over R500,000 on the online sale and immediately rewarded the Hollywood Syndicate with a win straight up. But I think he's got number 7, Swing Upon a Star, to worry about it. 5-1. I make this horse a huge chance. He's drawn towards the outside. He's a graded winner as well. As a 2-year-old, he won the Kamazi, beating Sunblushed, who was a winner for Michael Roberts about a week earlier. And Sean Terry's kept this horse away from handicaps, probably because his rating's a little bit on the high side and probably can't find the right handicap to give him a fair chance. But he's drawn towards the outside. I know that he scraped in to beat Elegant Ice at his penultimate start, but he obviously gave Elegant Ice 5.5 kilos. Elegant Ice is no mug. And then last time finishing 4th to Melech, who was just in front of Swing Upon a Star, none other than main defender. And I like the way that Swing Upon a Star stayed on last time. He's running against a much weaker field with only 2 kilograms more on his back. I like enough of what I saw last time, so I'm going to make him my top choice with huge respect for number 5, I Am Giant. Pick 6 players, you'd want to have a look at number 3, Cold Fat. You'd want to have a look at number 10, Moonshining Through, with no weight on her back. But in the PA, I'm very comfortable with numbers 5 and 7, and likewise bar pot numbers as well.
Yeah, number 7, Swing Upon a Star, definitely offers some decent value in race number 4 at around 5-1 in the market. He could just be the play in the opening leg of the pick 6. Moving along to race number 5, which will be the start of Jackpot 1. This is the Ormond Ferraris Oaks Trial. It is a listed contest over 2,000 meters. 25 past 2 is the off time. And having a look at the market, they have got Sukhumvit at the top of betting boards at 3-1. 33-10 about Francis Ethel. It's 7-2 Mary's Greenlight. 7-1 about Explosive Bond. It is 8-1 Forgiveness. And then it's 14-1 and Better Ball. Those. Now, Sukhumvit, she was well fancied last time out. They absolutely put the cash down with his daughter of Silvana, who found a couple too good for her, beaten behind the more experienced rivals, Magical Flight, and she comes into the race with 57 kgs on the back. But the interesting runner has got to be number 4, Francis Ethel, who won a very, very nice race last time out, beating Lady Fallon, and she hit the line quite readily, suggesting that the step up in trip to 2,000 meters is going to be right up her alley, and 9 days later she returned. So that's got to be a very interesting move here from James Crawford.
Well, these are the 2 horses that I've got on my place accumulator, 4 and 5, Francis Ethel and Sukhumvit. My top choice is number 5, Sukhumvit, funny enough. Although her last run, the money was down and she ran third, half a length or 3/4 of a length behind Magical Flight, the excuses are evident. Slow away, pulled and clipped heels. There was no pace in the race. She wouldn't settle. I think this time she's going to get a lot more pace. There'll be options from a deeper draw. Well, you know, you'd much rather be drawn 1 over 2,000 meters on this Turffontein standside track. But I think for her, with options on the outside, with a few horses to potentially give her cover and find hopefully a good position, I'm not worried about the slightly deeper draw for this daughter of Silvano. She should reach this distance without any fuss whatsoever. She's totally untapped and under the radar, and I think that she is going to be a very interesting runner. But obviously, number 4, Francis Ethel's, has been impressive thus far. I had a good chat to Brett Crawford at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth during the week, and he said, very, very happy with that last win over Lady Fallon. Funny enough, Sukhumvit beat Lady Fallon in that run on Guineas Day on the 3rd of February. Francis Ethel beat Lady Fallon nicely. It was a hard run. She had to really grit her teeth and grind out the win, but she looked impressive over the closing stages. Brett's big concern is that 9 days later, on the back of what was a hard-fought win, might count against her, but she's definitely on the up. She's ahead of the curve, and she's got wins to come. So I think both horses pretty much come from the same position. They're both going, I don't know, places might be a little bit of a stretch, but they're both going in the right direction. They both got something about them, and I think that they'll be the 2 to 5. Top choice, though, is number 5, Sukhumvit, but all the respect in the world for number 4, Francis Ethel.
Just 4 and 5 in race number 5 over the 2,000 meter trip. Moving along to race number 6, the Tab Hawam Stakes over 2,000 meters. 3 o'clock is the off time. This is another listed contest. Favorite here is number 1, Hawkbill at 3-1. It is 7-2 about number 5, Dubai Hills. Marauding Horde is at 4-1. 7-1 about Thani Player. It's then 10-1 and Better Bar. Those scratch number 4, Viva Brazil. Now, Alistair, having a look at this contest, there obviously seems to be a few horses that could make their presence felt in a big way. You've got Hawkbull, who gets the services of Pierce Stradum. 2,000 meters seems to be a slight question mark for me, even though he has run a third and a fourth over the distance. I think a horse like Moronian Horde could be a big player. And then you've got this horse, Thani player, who I thought would have run a much better race last time out when taking on older horses, but perhaps he could be suited to his own age group for now.
I found this race tricky, Raheel. I've got 3 horses in my place accumulating. There's no way they're going to be 3 horses in the pick 6. We'll need a lot more. Those numbers are 1, 3, and 9. Hawkbull, George Handel, and Thani Player. So horses that you have mentioned. In order of preference, I don't actually know which way I'm going to go here. Number 1, Hawkbull. I think 2,000 meters is in his wheelhouse, to be fair. Last up behind East Coast, it looks like he ran above his rating. I think East Coast ran below his rating. So maybe take that length deficit with a pinch of salt. But still, with that said, Hawkbull has always hinted that he's got something in him. His run to Sandringham Summit as a 2-year-old and the Durban Golden Horseshoe on Hollywoodbets Durbanville shows that he's got something about him. And he's just been banging on the door with horses that have run at a high level with older horses. So he's been exposed by Lucky Hoodalakis, and he has been swimming, although he's not been getting gold. Pierce Stradum, as you say, ridden him once before, finished 3 1/4 lengths behind Yukon Hurry Love. I think there's enough going for number 1 Hawkbull to justify him being favourite, but he's certainly no good thing. But he's in my play. 3, George Handel. The winner in the anti-penultimate start was a back-to-the-wall victory over On the Horizon, who's also claimed by Lucky Hoodalakis. He lost a little bit of his gloss in his next 2 starts, but as we saw from Fani Bronco's Pure Predator in the Grade 1 SA Classic, he punched well above his weight. And I think George Handel's capable of going better. He showed signs of life last time when he stayed on very strongly behind Twin Turbo. He was clearly the best finisher, one of the best finishers in the race. There have been winners out of that form line, and I think that this race has been a target for the son of Oratorio for quite a long time. And then the Thani Player ran with older last time. He carried no weight, but he came back with a whole lot of excuses. When he hung, he steadied, and he also returned sculpts in the pull-up as well. Dennis Schwarz takes the right here for Lorenzo Karim and Mano Pandaram. He's 1 from 1 over this distance. He beat To the Rescue. Obviously, looks like the horse to beat in race number 1. But I think that, the further this horse goes, the more he races and the more experience he gets, the better he'll be. So he's not one to totally leave out number 9, Thani Player. It's a very interesting race. It's a tricky race. There are loads of good chances. 6, Marauding Horde, 5, Dubai Hills, even 7, No Place Like Home Worth, another chance. 2, Eiffel Towers, much better than his last run. Atarima will be interesting straight out the maidens. They've all got a chance. In the PA, I'm happy with my numbers 1, 3, and 9, but pick 6, you'll need to put your thinking cap on.
Very, very tricky race number 6 of the 2,000 meter trip. Moving along to race number 7, which is the Tab Aquanaut handicap over 2,400 meters, another listed contest. And this race gets underway at 15:35. When we have a look at the fixed odds, the fixed odds betting market, Good Counsel tops the boards at 28-10, 7-2 about East Coast. It's 5-1 Prime Example, 11-2 Blackthorn, and then it's 8-1. And better ball those. It's quite a competitive race, but I'm sure for those fans of Good Counsel, they'll be happy to see that Zeus isn't lining up in this contest, and Good Counsel could well be the one that they all need to beat.
Raheel, he won this race last year, and he beat Razor Hallelujah, who he meets again. The kicker here is that Razor Hallelujah is 6.5 kilos better off for a 2 1/4 length beating. That's going to put number 5, Razor Hallelujah, bang into the race. He travelled back from Cape Town. Well, he had a good Cape season without getting a win. His run to Aragosta was a thrill when he ran second in the Cape Summer Stays. Peter Sunday all he gets on board for Candace Dawson. His last run was all wrong. Gareth Wright was under instruction to drop him out, and that just clearly didn't work. He can be good being dropped out, can Razor Hallelujah, but then he needs a pace to be on, and they obviously walked on World Sports Bet in Cape Town Met Day in the reserve Stays race, and he was just never a factor. This horse is overpriced, number 5, Razor Hallelujah. Whatever price he is, he's overpriced. He's not an absolute good thing. The number's not in the frame by any stretch of the imagination, but he will run well. His record over this distance, 9 starts, 2 wins and 5 places. Over this course and distance, he's very good. He was touched off in the Java handicap as well about 18 months ago. He's got it to win a race of this nature. And like I said, he's totally overpriced, number 5, Razor Hallelujah, on the evidence of last year's Tab Aquanaut handicap. One good counsel definitely coming to hand. He's, like you said, thankfully no Zeus in this race. Zeus would have just carried far too much weight, and I would have been able to ride Zeus, and they found a better race for him later on. The Son of Oratoria, 4-time winner since Stuart Pettigrew's got the Son of Oratoria. He's been running well, banging at the door, like you said, with no Zeus in the race. That's going to be a benefit. He hasn't got the best of draws, but he seemed pretty versatile in that he can go forward and he can sort of take a seat just off them. I'm sure it'll be the Pettigrew way to drop good counsel in. Hopefully a horse like Top Cell or even Indian Ocean with no weight on her back can go and help good counsel get a pace to aim at, and if the race does work out, he'll be a big player. 3 and 4, East Coast and Blackthorn also got to be respected. They in the race as well, but place accumulator, I've got numbers 1 and 5.
1 and 5 for Alistair in race number 7, and Razor Hallelujah, he is at 16 to 1 in the market, so definitely represents tremendous value in race number 7 with Pilla Sunday and Koli taking the ride. Race number 8, 10 past 4 is the off time, 1600 meters the trip. This is a middle stakes, and when we have a look at the market, it is number 2 Silent War at the top of betting boards, 18 to 10. Number 10 Player at 7 to 2, Tippets at 9 to 2, 8 to 1 about Tulip Tree. It's then 10 to 1 and Better Ball. Those now. Silent War has got to carry a big weight. He was third last time out behind Silver Hills. He's holding form very nicely. He's suited to the distance, but 62 kg is definitely not going to be an easy task, having to concede weight to the entire field. And number 10 Player, he comes into the race with just 54 kgs on the back. He's a horse that is suited to 1600 meters, and there's no doubt that he'll make his presence felt in a big way. Yeah,
1600 meters definitely better for number 10 Player. He moved up with quite a lot in hand last time and then just never really went on with it, although he was probably exposed a little bit earlier than what he needed to be. But with that said, I think number 2 Silent War is going to take all the beating here. The last run to Silver Hills obviously looks a lot better now after Silver Hills won the Wilkebos Drift Acacia a week earlier. Has the handicapper got the better of Silent War? Now that he's gone up to a 99 and he's banging on the door and not quite getting the job done, that remains to be seen. But I like enough of what I saw in his last run to Silver Hills. Obviously, there have been 2 direct winners out of that form. I like the way that he was putting horses to the sword on arrival from Cape Town. Pierre Stradham takes the ride. I think he's the perfect jockey for Silent War, because I think if you quiet on Silent War, then he will deliver for you. His penultimate start in the World Sportsman in Grand Heritage, he was the best finisher in the race behind Unzen. As we know, Unzen won the prep run for the HF Oppenheimer Horse Chestnut Stakes, a very, very hot pinnacle stakes, when beating horses like Dave the King and various other grade 1 performers, Safe Passage, although he's a little bit off colour. So all the form lines and all the numbers just point to number 2 Silent War. I'd like to believe the Dawson horses will be competitive. I like to believe that they'll both earn a check, but in terms of finding a winner, I think it stops on number 2 Silent War. I think he'll be a very, very, very hard horse to beat.
Lots of confidence there around number 2 Silent War from Alistair. 18 to 10 the current price. Moving along to race number 9, the final race on the day, 1800 meters the trip. It is a pinnacle stakes, and we see Zeus back in action here, and he has found betting support as you would expect. 15 to 10 his current price from around 18 to 10. Number 3 Litigation is at 5 to 1. Aragosta at 11 to 2 along with Street Art. It's in 10 to 1 and Better Ball. Those now, Zeus has got to concede weight all around here. He's got 62 kgs on the back. But it's clear to see that his best form is over 2,400 meters. He's won over 1,800 meters, but he's not the same horse as he is when he goes over a mile and a half. And what's your thoughts on race number 9? Who's your top selection here, Alistair?
Top selection of number 3 Litigation. The kicker in this race, Raheel, is Zeus, better over further and better with Gavin Larena. 2 Aragosta. good horse over 1800 meters, but better over further. Nebraska, very good horse, better over further. Gilded Butterfly, if it rains, she loves the sting out the ground. If it rains, she becomes a force. Shoemaker's just been horribly disappointing and horrible to follow, although I think that he's capable of winning a race like this. And then you got Street Art, who's held by litigation. So 3 and 5 are my numbers here, just because of it looks like a starting point for a lot of horses. It's not the cup final for horses like Zeus and Aragosta. I wonder how many of these horses are going to be targeting a race like the Premier's Champions Challenge at the end of in a month from now. I don't know. There's a lot of question marks against these horses, because obviously the path is set out here. Why would you want to go guns blazing for a Pinnacle Stakes when there are feature races to come in the coming months, whether it be in Joburg or Durban? So litigation, for me, the best 1800-meter horse in the race. His form since being gelded, he's turned the corner. I know that he was gelded in September, but he obviously needed his runs, ran in the Summer Cup, which was just an absolute nightmare for litigation. And he ended up in front and was the worst result. He walked and he didn't suit himself, let alone quite a few of the others. Might have taken a bit of time to recover from that, but his last 2 wins, he's shown good resolve, both over 1800 meters, winning the Drumstar, which is now the Richard Maponya handicap, and the London News. The London News is a good race to win. From that run on the 17th of February, as mentioned, he finished in front of Street Arts and Meridius. He holds them at the weights. He should be able to have the better of them again. Meridius, I thought, ran nicely in defeat to litigation in the London News. I think Meridius will turn it around with number 6, Street Art. That's a gut feel rather than the absolute mathematics adding up. But yeah, I just think everything points to litigation in terms of that this is just more his sweet spot than anyone else in the race. But it's an interesting race. There'll be a lot of clues here going forward for the coming months.
Yeah, number 3, litigation, absolutely lethal over track and trip. 6 runs, 4 victories, and a second along with a 4th. But Shoemaker, he's waited to turn the form around on their last start when he was beaten behind litigation under length. And at 10-1, it would be no surprise if he were to bounce back to some of his better form. We're going to move along to the suggested bet now, and Alistair will take us through his suggested bet for racing out at Turffontein on Saturday. So, Alistair, take it away.
PA begins at 1:15, double-header Saturday, good racing at both venues. So let's have a look. Race 3, 1 and 6 in the first leg, Twa Cut and Pewter Sky. By numbers 5 and 7, I Am Giants and Swinging Upon a Star. By 4 and 5, Francis Ethel and Sukhumwit. Then the 6th race, the Tab Hawam Stakes. That's the 4th leg of the PA. It's one of the legs of the PA I'm uncomfortable with. Those are numbers 1, Hawkbill, 3, George Handel, and 9, Funny Player. Then gone 1 and 5, Good Counsel and Razor Hallelujah. But Banker 2, Silent War. And the last leg, you also probably want to put your thinking cap on. 3, Litigation, a hard horse to beat with a whole lot of good horses in the race. 5, Meridius as backup.
That place accumulator will cost you a total of 96 Rand for one full unit, and the place accumulator will begin in race number 3. Alistair, thanks very much for your time. All the best. Have a wonderful weekend and enjoy racing on Saturday.
Yep, always a pleasure. Looking forward to it all. It's a feast of racing. It's a good weekend to be a racing fan. Although there are no Grade 1 races, we've got feature races at both venues. And I love the Turffontein card. I've traditionally gone quite well. So hopefully it all falls into place again.
Turffontein, race number 1 gets underway at 12:05. As you heard from Alistair, good racing at both venues, Hollywoodbets Kenilworth and Turffontein. So looking forward to the action and all the best with racing on Saturday.